On a previous video, I built an acrylic bubble wall that uses both water and oil. The following is the construction of the wood base and top for it. If you haven't already seen the bubble wall video, please check it out. Using 3/4-inch plywood, I am constructing a box which will contain the plumbing and power for the bubble wall. The outside of the box I will finish with cherry. The plywood pieces shown here will be used to support the bubble wall. After adding the first plywood support, I placed the panel into the base, then added the second support. If you watched the video on building the bubble wall, you might have noticed that this panel looks different. The one shown here is actually the first one I built. There were many problems that occurred during this build. I had water leaking, oil leaking, panel cracking, and many scars on the panel from glue drippings. It did work long enough to get a video, but I then had to scrap it. It was a bit of a learning curve, but I did get the bugs worked out on the second build. Anyways, getting back on track. For extra support, I am adding these aluminum channels. To place them in the right position, I taped them to the bottom of the bubble wall support. Then after adding some JB Weld adhesive, I will place the panel into the base and let it sit for 24 hours. This cherry frame is what the plywood base will sit on. I realize just gluing the miter joints is not a strong bond, but the plywood base will be holding it in place. If I built something like this again, I would make a panel for the plywood box to sit on, then that would eliminate the corner joints. One of the struggles I have in woodworking is to miter that perfect 45. If I can, I usually try to avoid them, but sometimes you just got to do it. Since I'm not alone in this, I found a number of videos on fixing that less than perfect joint. Since the bubble wall will be used in a darker space, I chose a dark stain. Also, there is a lot of trim work in our house with this stain, so there is that too. For the top coat, I used an oil-based urethane product called Arma-Seal by General Finishes. I have used this finish a lot and have had good success with it. Here, I'm drilling a hole to bring the power cord in. I didn't want the base sitting on the cord, so I channeled the bottom, then drilled a hole for it. After gluing in the corner molding, I am adding wainscoting. I pre-finished these parts, since there weren't any joints that needed sanding. To turn the bubble wall on and off, I added a power switch. I will leave a link below for this. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you can think of any comments, please leave them below.